Dear friends, this is episode number 36. In episode number 35, we were dealing with section 89. I have read subsection 1. I have also said about the Justice Malimat Committee report and the Law Commission's report and the object of the amendment. Now, I invite your attention to two cases, Salem 1 and Salem 2. Salem 1, Salem Advocate Bar Association versus Union of India and others. Salem Advocate Bar Association versus Union of India and others. (2003) 1 SCC 49 and Salem 2 2005 6 SCC 344. Now the constitutional validity of the CPC Amendment Acts was first considered in Salem 1 2003 1 SCC 49. There you may see paragraph 8 to 12. 8 to 12. I will just refer to some of the sentences. Very few. Keeping in mind the law's delays and the limited number of judges which are available, it has now become imperative that resort should be had to alternative dispute resolution mechanism with a view to bring to an end litigation between the parties at an early stage. That occurs in paragraph 9. In paragraph 10, after referring to certain IDR methods, all that this means is that effort has to be made to bring about an amicable settlement between the parties. But if the conciliation or mediation or judicial settlement is not possible, despite efforts being made, the case will ultimately go for trial. This is what is said. In paragraph 11, all counsel are agreed that for this purpose, it will be appropriate if a committee is constituted so as to ensure that the amendments made become effective and result in quicker dispensation of justice. Then a committee was appointed, as I said, headed by Justice Jagannath Rao, retired Supreme Court judge, and then Mr. Kapil Sibal and Mr. Arun Jaitley, Mr. Vaidyanathan as the amicus curiae, Mr. D.V. Subbaravu, the chairman of the Bar Council of India, and others. They can co-opt members also. They submitted the reports. The committee submitted the reports. And those reports, report 1 deals with the various provisions in the CPC which underwent amendment and the difficulties which the litigants, advocates and court may face. All those things are referred to in the report. Report number 1 was considered in detail in Salem 2. Salem 2 is 2005 6 SCC 344. Up to paragraph 50, those provisions in the CPC are referred to. About the other reports on alternative dispute resolution, case flow management, mediation rules and all those things are referred to in paragraph 51 to 71. 51 to 71 of Salem 2. In paragraph 2 of Salem 2, that also is to be read along with that. In paragraph 2 of Salem 2, the report is in 3 parts. Report 1 contains consideration of the various grievances relating to amendments to the code and the recommendations of the committee. Report number 2 contains the consideration of various points raised in connection with the draft rules for ADR and mediation as envisaged by section 89 of the code, read with Order 10 rules 1A, 1B and 1C. It also contains model rules. Report 3 contains a conceptual appraisal of case management. It also contains the model rules of case management. And then from paragraph 51 to 71 up to paragraph 50, paragraph 3 to 50, the various provisions of the CPC which had undergone amendment were discussed. Paragraph 51 to end, the other reports with respect to ADR methods was discussed. So these are to be taken note of. Then along with section 89, we have also to see Order 10, Rule 1A, Rule 1B and Rule 1C. Now let us read 89. Where it appears to the court that there exist elements of settlement which may be acceptable to the parties, the court shall formulate the terms of settlement and give them to the parties for their observations. And after receiving observations of the parties, the court may reformulate the terms of a possible settlement and refer the same for A. Arbitration, B. Conciliation, C. For judicial settlement including settlement through Lok Adalat, or D. Mediation. Then subsection 2 refers to what will happen if these 4 methods are adopted. Let us see. Where a dispute has been referred for arbitration or conciliation, the provisions of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 shall apply, as if the proceedings for arbitration or conciliation were referred for settlement under the provisions of that act. That we know it is a self-contained one. Arbitration and conciliation, once it go for arbitration, it is a final award will be passed, which will be binding, subject to certain provisions for setting aside the award and all those things. Then the court loses its control over it. Court referring the matter to arbitration loses control over it. Then B. To Lok Adalat, the court shall refer the same to the Lok Adalat in accordance with the provisions of subsection 1 of section 20 of the Legal Services Authority Act 1987 and all other provisions of that act shall apply in respect to the dispute so referred to Lok Adalat. Lok Adalat also we are familiar. 3. For judicial settlement, the court shall refer the same to a suitable institution or person, and such institution or person shall be deemed to be a Lok Adalat. And all the provisions of the Legal Service Authority Act 1987 shall apply, as if the disputes were referred to the Lok Adalat under the provisions of that act. Then finally, for mediation, the court shall effect a compromise between the parties and shall follow such procedure as may be prescribed. Now, while reading and understanding section 89 and the scope of it, I said that you have to read Salem 1 and Salem 2. I have also referred to the paragraphs. Then the interpretation of the various clauses in subsection 2 of section 89. You have to see Afcon's Infrastructure Limited and another. Afcon's Infrastructure Limited and another. Versus Cherian Varki Construction. Cherian Varki Construction Company Private Limited and others. Citation is 2010 8 SCC 24. This case arose from the state of Kerala, from the Kerala High Court. There the question involved was whether an unwilling party can be referred to arbitration, exercising the power under section 89. We know that arbitration, the foundation is an arbitration agreement between the parties. So there is a consensus. Unless the parties agree, there can be no arbitration. There must be originally an arbitration agreement. So an unwilling party, whether he can be referred to arbitration exercising the power of the court under section 89 was the question. And the Kerala High Court took the view that even an unwilling party can be referred for arbitration exercising power under section 89 and clause A will apply. That was challenged before the Supreme Court by Afcon Infrastructure Limited. Then the Supreme Court reversed the decision of the Kerala High Court. The various aspects of section 89. What is the origin of that concept? All those things have been elaborately dealt with in Afcon's decision in a very simple language, reader friendly, and I invite the attention of the students as well as lawyers, young lawyers, to read it in full. You will not stop reading, you will not get bored. You must have a CPC with you. Read it. And then the Supreme Court said that in subsection 1, that is where it appears to quote that there exist elements of settlement which may be acceptable to the parties, the court shall formulate the probable terms of settlement and refer to the parties after getting their observation, reformulate it and refer to any of the four methods. What the Supreme Court in Afcon said, that this is conciliation, last part of it, and therefore that is not necessary. The court may consider the nature of the case and then refer to some of the methods. Then also it was considered clause C and D of subsection 2. Clause C, for judicial settlement the court shall refer the same to a suitable institution or person, and such institution or person shall be deemed to be a Lok Adalat, etc., etc. What the Supreme Court says in Afcon's case is that this should be read as mediation instead of judicial settlement. So, for the words judicial settlement, you substitute mediation. And clause D, for the word mediation, you substitute judicial settlement. And the reasons are discussed in detail why His Lordship Justice R.V. Ravindran, along with Justice J.M. Panchal, arrived at that conclusion. Those conclusions. Reasons are there. And Afcon Infrastructure, after that there is no amendment, nothing has been said. Then the court considered, please read it. Then the court considered in paragraph 26 onwards. Till then, discussion is there. Various points have been discussed. Paragraph 26 on whether reference to ADR process is mandatory. That question was considered in detail. Then in paragraph 27 it is said, the following categories of cases are normally considered to be suitable for ADR process, having regard to the nature. Not suitable. The following categories of cases are normally considered to be not suitable for ADR process. Representative suits, dispute relating to election, cases involving grant of authority by the court after enquiry, for example, suits for grant of probate or letters of administration, cases involving serious and specific allegation of fraud, fabrication of documents, forgery, impersonation, coercion, etc. Cases requiring protection of courts, for example, claims against minors, deities and mentally challenged, and suits for declaration of title against the government. And 6. Cases involving prosecution for criminal offences. These are all the categories which are normally considered not suitable for ADR. Then, all other paragraph 28 says all other suits and cases of civil nature, in particular, the following categories of cases, whether pending in civil courts or other special courts or tribunals, special tribunals or forum, are normally suitable for ADR process. 1. All cases relating to trade, commerce and contracts. Then several categories there. Dispute arising out of contract, dispute relating to specific performance, suppliers and between suppliers and customers, between bankers and customers, etc. etc. And 2. All cases arising from strained or sore relationships, including disputes relating to matrimonial causes, dispute relating to petition division among family members, co-partners, dispute relating to partnership among partners, etc. Then the third category, all cases where there is a need for continuation of the pre-existing relationship in spite of disputes. That is, dispute between neighbors, dispute between employers and employees, dispute relating among members of societies, associations, etc. Then fourth category, all cases relating to tortious liability, including claims for compensation in motor accidents, other accidents. Then next category, all consumer disputes, including dash. Then para 29 onwards it is said how to decide the appropriate ADR process under section 89. That is also mentioned. Then arbitration, various things are discussed. The other three ADR process, whether the settlement in ADR process is binding. Then summation from paragraph 41 onwards. Paragraph 41 onwards, it is summing up. Then para 46, conclusion. Altogether, there are pages 25 to 45, 20 pages only. 20 pages full of subject. You will not get bored. And very, very informative. You will get everything connected with that provision if you read AFCON infrastructure. That is enough. No further study is required. Though some of the points Justice Ravindran in that judgment says that if judicial settlement is substituted as mediation and for mediation judicial settlement is substituted, all the problems will be solved. Personally, I do not fully agree with that conclusion that all the problems will be solved. But it is for the Parliament to think about it. That judgment should be brought to the notice of the parliamentarians. I do not know whether the Law Commission has said something about it. If so, find out and then discuss about it. It is a matter to be considered by the Parliament again, where I may invite the attention of the law students as well as lawyers. You can also initiate. You can address the Law Commission. You can address the central government. After studying everything, that is a positive contribution of the lawyer community. Not to read and understand after the law is made. The lawyers can contribute even at the time of law making. See the Constituent Assembly, which drafted the Constitution. Most of them were eminent lawyers, even the chairman of a committee, Dr. Ambedkar. So many other people, very big people, all were lawyers. The percentage of lawyers has come down in the Parliament, and even percentage of eminent lawyers. So whenever law is made, judicial impact assessment should be made. But unfortunately, that is not being made in our country. So that there the area, I am deviating from 89 and saying something else. The contribution of the lawyer community, when a bill is introduced, bill is released for discussion, you can download all those things with all modern techniques, you can do it. The lawyers must discuss. Their valuable suggestions can be made, so that will also part of the discussion in Parliament at various committees, in the various committees of the Parliament, that will be discussed, so that we can make an ideal law for the whole country with the help of lawyer community. But unfortunately, that is not being done. The law students also can contribute. They have enough time. Lawyers may not have time. Law students have time. They can also do something in that regard. Now we come back to 89. So read all these judgments. Then let us go to Order 10, Rule 1A, 1B, 1C. Order 10, Rule 1A. Direction of the court to opt for any one of the mode of alternative dispute resolution. After recording the admissions and denials, just reading is enough. After recording the admissions and denials, the court shall direct the parties to the suit to opt either mode of settlement outside the court as specified in subsection 1 of section 89. On the option of the parties, the court shall fix the date of appearance before such forum or authority as may be opted by the parties. 1B. Appearance before conciliatory forum or authority. Where a suit is referred to under Rule 1A, the parties shall appear before such forum or authority for conciliation of the suit. 1C. Appearance before court consequent on the failure of the efforts of conciliation. Where a suit is referred under Rule 1A and the presiding officer of conciliation forum or authority is satisfied that it would not be proper in the interest of justice to proceed with the matter further, then it shall refer the matter again to the court and direct the parties to appear before the court on the date fixed by it. The mediation rules or ADR rules in the respective courts may also provide for some methods by which the presence of parties can be ensured, some consequences of not appearing before that is also provided. In our state also it is there. That may depend from state to state. So this is 89. 89 just I have given it in a nutshell, bare minimum, because it is not proper to refer to all the relevant paragraphs in AFCON or Salem 1 and 2. It is for you to read and understand. just given 3 decisions. If you read these 3 decisions, 89 you can master. And then in the state case flow management rules, ADR rules, mediation rules, all those things will be there. In every high court it will be headed by committees of senior judges. ADR committees, mediation committees there, legal service, there is a legal service authority, then High Court Legal Service Committee, all those things are there. So it is a full-fledged, it's a very effective mechanism, which is from experience also, so far as our Kerala state is concerned, from experience shows that mediation works very well. Very well. Very well. And particularly in matrimonial matters, I have seen, I do not know what is the position in the subordinate courts. I am saying about the High Court. Till 2016, I am saying. Even at the time of filing and first appearance of parties, after getting notice, both the lawyers request the court refer to the mediation center, because they have got great hope in the mediation center. Mediation center is manned by lawyers of the High Court. There is no expenses involved for the parties. And even if it is not settled, nobody asks what is the reason for not settling. Because in mediation, the mediator cannot communicate with the court except to say whether the matter is settled or not. If settled, of course, the agreement between the parties can be forwarded to the court may look into it and pass appropriate orders. Otherwise, it is because of this stand taken by a particular party, the settlement could not be arrived at, that the mediator cannot say. So it goes for mediation, a good number of cases are being settled, where a judicial decision is very, very difficult. Very difficult in certain cases. I give one example. A matrimonial, 3 or 4 matrimonial appeals came before me, before the bench in which I was a senior member. So the case of the husband is that his wife is a sexual maniac. The case of the wife is that husband is impotent. So where do we start settlement talks? Where is the meeting point? Parallel lines. They do not meet. One is sexual maniac, other is impotent. So the parties, lawyers appeared. Lawyers said that there are 3 or 4 cases that all these things they started saying as a preliminary argument. They made the submissions. Then I said, I mentioned in partly as a joke and partly seriously to the lawyers, this is not sexual maniac matter or impotency. It is really money. Money is the question involved in the case. That is, my mind tells me that this is a dispute. You try for a mediation. Why don't you try for a mediation? Both the lawyers said yes, they will do. It was referred to the mediation center, posted after 2 weeks. Do you know what happened after 2 weeks? After 2 weeks, both the lawyers reported that the case has been settled, and the terms of settlement was also forwarded to the court. See, what was the term of settlement? The husband should pay 25 lakhs to the wife. So where is the impotency? Where is a person being the sexual maniac? So several cases, the real underlying reason may be something else than which is apparent. Sometimes the case may be manipulated, exaggerated, or absolute falsehood. Sometimes it may be true, but On the face of it, nobody may believe it. That also may be there. In most of the cases we have seen that when matrimonial cases come, the wife will say that at the time of my marriage, 100 sovereigns of gold were given. The husband will say, no, she hails from a very poor family. She was wearing only gold ornaments weighing 10 sovereigns. And the wife will produce photograph. All ornaments are there. Then the husband will say all these things are available in jewelleries. They will give it for 1 or 2 days. So that is possible. So it is not real. Then 4 or 5 witnesses on this side, 4 or 5 witnesses on the other side. How can the judge decide that? It's very difficult. Very, very difficult. But our judges are doing it. Therefore, in these matters, as Justice R.V. Ravindran of the Supreme Court in Afghan said, that these are all matters which should compulsorily go before for a mediation forum, that is ADR forum, before it goes to the court. It must be there. So the number of cases, and if it goes for mediation or settlement, at first the lawyer community objected, but now it is not so. They also welcome. So it works to some extent well. Yes. Explore section 89 to the full extent, because that is the order of the day. That will be in future also. You have CPC and all statutes and substantive law, procedural law, this and that, and all the decisions, reserve it for the cases which go for trial. So after weeding out all the cases which can be settled, you will get enough time for that exercise. So it is not necessary that you apply all these laws in every case. It is sufficient if you apply it in deserving cases, only those cases which are not settled. So the thought which Justice Malimat made in his report, and also the Law Commission, see, that is a reality. That alone will work in future. There are so many factors for it. Yes. So with that, we will close this episode. We will come with the next episode on another subject. Thank you.